You would be incredibly naive to think that digital ID isn't going to impact the common motorist. I mean, think about it. Cars, they're the very symbol of freedom. They represent autonomy, and they just so happen to belong to an industry where the government have been heavily intervening for years now, influencing and restricting your choices on what you can buy. Right now, we find ourselves at a precipice, one that threatens not just mobility, but basic privacy and free will. One that, once it's in place, cannot be undone, which is why it's so crucial we act now. I'm pretty certain I don't need to play this again. The authoritarian, hands together, let me be clear speech, letting us know that this new digital ID is going to be mandatory, but crucially, free of charge. It's little wonder that the current petition stands at almost 3 million of us who are collectively saying no. We're just not wired to take orders like that in a democratised society. A society where privacy is dwindling, nothing is sacred anymore. The issues of digital ID, they're wide-ranging. I'm sure we all realise that. However, this is a car channel. There are many wonderful, articulate, well-structured arguments from other creators as to why this move has ramifications for immigration, finance and privacy, and so on. I'm going to discuss it from an automotive point of view, but with that being said, its importance should not be understated. It is, as I mentioned, your freedom, your autonomy to move freely around your own country. It's important. To begin, we need to look at the government's goals, and we'll do that impartially here. I don't think there's anyone who would disagree that the government's desire for everyone in the last few years is to move to an electric vehicle, regardless of its suitability for your own individual circumstances. So whether you live in a city centre and you've got access to low-cost overnight charging tariffs and you commute only 5 miles a day, or you live in the rural Scottish Highlands with no access to a private charger and you stay over 100 miles from your nearest town, doesn't matter. It's the route that we're all going to be forced to go eventually. We've had zero technology neutrality here in the UK, and whilst other countries, they've explored solutions like range extenders, fuel cells, e-fuels, sustainable fuels, to name but a few. Nope, we're not having any of it here in the UK. We're just not having it. The government wants to see battery electric vehicles, and that's that. We've got this blinkered one-track mind for a technology that is having to be heavily subsidised on the consumer side and enforced with fines on the industry side. It is bonkers, and that's before we even get into the damage it's causing to the industry and the livelihoods within it, or the enormous lobbying going on behind the scenes from practically all the major manufacturers. I suspect this is a case that they've just gone that far down this track now and spent so much taxpayer money that doing a U-turn and losing face, well, in their eyes, it's worse than just ignorantly ploughing on anyway. So, despite mandating, fining, endorsing, banning, and using just about every tool in your parliamentary arsenal, it still isn't working. So what are the next steps then? Where do you go from here? Well, currently, there's no way to put a physical block on an individual buying the type of car that they want. Sure, I mean, you can make it far less desirable, far less attractive. You can hike up the tax, you can ban them in city centres, and you can even strangle emission standards so much that making any form of engine with a bit of reliability and longevity becomes less and less viable. We see that every day. But there's no hard stop on that person going and buying said car, because there's currently no infrastructure to stop them from doing it. What you would need is some kind of centralised individual identifier. How about digital ID? Here's the thing. Once that's in place, once that's been installed and it's there, that genie can't be put back in the bottle. Once you're subscribed to it, you're wide open to every avenue and overreach that it expands into thereafter. And I think that's just it. This isn't about conspiracies or whatever weird or wonderful potential situations you can imagine. This is about the sheer potential with something like this in place. You can hand someone a knife, cross your fingers and turn your back, But ultimately, the situation's just now out of your hands, isn't it? It's up to them what the next move is going to be. Just as the government have leveraged every other tool at their disposal, I do firmly and fully believe that digital ID would be yet another tool that they would use to achieve their goals. Today, that's electric vehicles. Tomorrow, who knows? But today, that is the mass adoption of electric vehicles. Now, one thing systems like this excel at is the consolidation of data. And let's talk a little bit about that. I'm not referring here to, the basic stuff, your name and your age, where you stay and so on. I'm talking about here how quickly your file, or your digital twin if you like, how quickly that would be an accurate representation of who you are as a person. Things like, what kind of car did you purchase? Was that a particularly environmentally friendly, well-informed decision? How often are you leaving the country? Where do you tend to make your purchases? Where could you be found on a random Tuesday at 2 p.m? Suddenly, you've got this digital twin that's constantly building a more and more accurate picture of who you are, constantly profiling. That, folks, that is a very scary thought when you consider right now the DVLA will sell your personal data to a private car park operator for about £2.50 because you overstayed at your hospital appointment for 15 minutes too long. The other thing, it's not just that this massive amount of data is vulnerable to breaches and theft and abuse, it's that it could well have hard stops built into it as well. I mean, if the government felt we weren't doing enough to meet those net zero targets, maybe they could take the decision to halt certain purchases or even your travel. You can hear it now, can't you? The same motivational speech with the same authoritarian pose. We need to all pull our weight here and get our carbon footprint down. The point is, with digital ID, the infrastructure to limit or stop certain choices would be established and could be exercised. I mean, I'm talking here about carbon footprints. Carbon accounting tools, they already exist for businesses, and it has to be reported to the government year on year. Why wouldn't that be extended to individuals if the infrastructure to support it was already there and in place? Your very own carbon score, all free of charge, of course, all free of charge. And here's the thing, think about modern cars and how well this would all tie together. It's like it was made to fit, isn't it? Modern cars, especially electric vehicles, I mean, they're just computers on wheels. They're constantly connected, they're constantly receiving updates that may or may not be to your own personal advantage. There have been plenty of examples in the past intentionally disabling not just your heated seats that you forgot to make the monthly payment on for your subscription, but the entire car. You're not going anywhere if they disable it, are you? I mean, Ford, they filed a patent for a remote disablement system intended to help with repossessions. The capability is there, and it could be used against you as an individual. Try that with an older car. It ain't gonna happen. And if you do find yourself in the market for one of those, please do remember, a long-standing sponsor of the channel is Vehicle Score, and they provide 20% off any HPI check. Their checks will certainly tell you if that car's got any skeletons in its closet. Sadly, it doesn't work on government bodies, but when it comes to cars, it's the best in my opinion. Now, I'm going to conclude this video very simply, the same way that I began, by reiterating we are at the precipice right now. It's not too late to swap a passive attitude for an engaged one and start by signing the petition to defend your freedom, your privacy, not just in the automotive world, but beyond that as well. And until the next time, thank you very much for watching. Please do hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed this and you haven't already. Please do hit the like button as well. And of course, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below.